I clenched the water glass. My mind went blank for a moment. Fortunately, Alan didn't think too much about it. The same aroma is in my brother's study. It smells good. I secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Then, I heard him mutter, "Ding! Wisnovel reminds you to click the subscribe button in the bottom right corner to read the complete novel. My brother is on a business trip. I can finally have a few days of freedom." Business trip? Yeah, he just left at noon. Probably he was avoiding me. Vincent only comes home during the new year. Seeing me, he just nodded lightly as if nothing had happened. Soon it was Tuesday. I was feeling better and joined Alan for his high school reunion. With Alan's personality, he was always the center of attention wherever he went, and I also received a lot of attention because of him. Alan's friend put his arm around his neck and whispered, "Is this the girl you found to make Shelly jealous? Come on, buddy, are you blind? This girl is prettier than Shelly. Yuri the blind one. How can she compare to Shelly? Did you tell her? She might be targeted by Shelly today." "No need to tell her," Alan said casually. "The more she's targeted, the more it shows that Shelly can't let go of me." I was sitting beside them, actually hearing everything clearly. Alan raised his glass to someone. "Tonight we don't return until we're drunk." Someone joked, "Alan, dare you drink? Aren't you afraid your brother will scold you?" "My brother is too busy today. He's out on a blind date." My scattered thoughts suddenly tightened at this moment. Who is Vincent? He is the current head of the Basin Group, powerful and handsome. Everyone was very interested in gossip about him, and Alan was happy to share. "Oh, he's still a bachelor. I don't know why he agreed to go on a blind date this year. Probably because the blind date candidate is beautiful, and I heard she's also from a good family. Well, looks like I'm getting a sister-in-law." The music was loud, making me feel restless. Just then, the private room door was pushed open. "Shelly is here. Welcome, Campus Belle." Alan's first love was very beautiful, but she was full of hostility towards me. She was surrounded by her friends, constantly belittling me. The atmosphere was tense, so I took the initiative to help wash the fruit. At the same time, I was thinking about another matter. Alan spends money extravagantly. I have never asked him for money proactively. Just picking up the scraps from him, I have already saved enough for the surgery. It's time to break up. How should I bring it up? While contemplating, Shelly and her girlfriends surrounded me from behind. She changed her goddess demeanor and acted like a bully. "Did you just roll your eyes at me?" "No, liar. We all saw it." Yuri overthinking, I lazily wiped the fruit knife. "I can't even be bothered to look at you. Why would I roll my eyes at you?" Shelly became even angrier. Several people rushed up and started tearing my skirt. "This outfit is obviously bought by Alan. His taste is really not that great. Today, I'll let you know who you've really offended." I was getting annoyed, so before they could ruin my clothes, I grabbed Shelly's hair. With a swift move, I pressed her under the tap. Let her wash her head and calm down. Shelly's girlfriends didn't expect me to be so strong. They all stepped back. I said coldly, "Just by looking at you, Alan's taste is indeed questionable." "You!" Shelly seemed to curse quite harshly, but I didn't care. I was making her rinse her mouth. "If you're unhappy, go find Alan. What's the point of venting on me? Only brainless women like you would treasure trashy men like him." Shelly stopped cursing and started wailing. The restroom was very close to our private room. Alan and his friends rushed over upon hearing the commotion. Shelly finally broke free from me, looking like a wet chicken, and ran crying into Alan's arms. "Your girlfriend is bullying me." "That's impossible. Connie is not the type to," Alan subconsciously said. Shelly cried even louder. "Alan Basin, didn't you see just now? She pressed me under the sink." At this time, her girlfriends also came to their senses. "Yeah, we all saw it. She bullied your ex-girlfriend, and you don't do anything. Are you even a man?" Unable to withstand the provocation, Alan immediately looked at me seriously. "Connie, apologize to her." "Apologize? It's too funny." I held a fruit knife in my hand, approaching Alan step by step. No one dared to speak. Under my pressure, Alan kept stepping back, until he was tripped by the sofa and fell down. I stepped on the space between his legs. Just a little more, my black velvet high heels would have crushed his vital parts. "It's time to settle the score, scumbag." The back of the fruit knife grazed Alan's face. He seemed to shiver from the cold touch. "You used me, got back at your ex-girlfriend. I let that slide. Luckily, all I wanted was money. You can't hurt me, so we're even, but from now on, we're done. Please don't show up in front of me again." Alan was stunned, then suddenly reached out and grabbed my ankle. "What do you mean by all you wanted was money?" "Just what it sounds like." Connie Woodard, "You don't like me?" "I don't like you. I really dislike you." In the dim light, Alan seemed somewhat at a loss. "Impossible. How could you not like me? Yuri always so obedient to me." I plunged the fruit knife directly down. Alan was petrified. After a while, he realized that the fruit knife had only pierced into the sofa nearby. "Even when I went home with you this time, it was for your family's money. Don't get ahead of yourself." Before I could finish, I suddenly felt a strange aura behind me. I turned around. Vincent was standing at the door. He heard everything. The light was dim. I couldn't see his expression clearly. Vincent walked over. First, he threw his suit jacket over me. My dress had just been torn by Shelly and the others. Then, he went to help Alan up. Alan was probably a little shocked, taking a while to recover. I heard from nearby classmates. Vincent happened to be at this cafe for a blind date. He arrived just in time. Yuri finished. As she passed by me, Shelley said viciously, President Vincent hates gold diggers the most. The gold diggers who came to the Basin family in the past all ended badly. I sneered. I didn't need her to tell me. I would leave on my own. I wasn't naive enough to think that Vincent would take my side at a time like this. Dreams are just dreams, but Alan Basin was his real family. If not now, then when would I leave? I placed the suit jacket on a chair and left. That night, I broke my SIM card, boarded a train. Next, I had a lot to do. First, take my mom for surgery, then find a job, and so on. I was extremely busy. In June, a classmate told me. At the graduation ceremony, Alan came to find me but was told that I hadn't returned to school at all. Alan looked lost and dejected at that time. I didn't understand. Was he a masochist? Fortunately, we wouldn't have any intersection in the future. As for Vincent, I never dreamt of him again. In the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed. I stayed in my hometown, taking care of my mom and working. Life was originally calm. Suddenly one day, the company was acquired by the Basin Group. It was said that a leader was sent to inspect it personally. The Basin family's business empire spanned the whole country. At first, I didn't pay much attention. Until one morning, I bumped into Vincent Basin in the elevator. He was surrounded by many high-level executives from our company, like a shining star among them. That face, cold and indifferent, had appeared countless times in my dreams. Seeing him again now feels like a lifetime ago. The elevator was almost full, and the leader said, Connie, you can wait for the next one. I reluctantly took a step back, but then I heard Vincent's cold voice saying, come in. The elevator was small and cramped. I was almost pressed up against Vincent. Mr. Basin, this is Connie Woodard from the design department, a top student from a prestigious university. Vincent didn't reply, but instead looked down at me. You've lost weight, he said out of the blue, leaving all the leaders stunned. At noon that day, Vincent showed his financial strength by ordering a luxurious lunch for all employees. I ate the rice and left all the dishes untouched. Although I didn't want to admit it, this lunch was definitely not going to be cheap. The ingredients used were ones I couldn't afford. I wanted to take them home for my mom to taste. Busy until the afternoon, I started feeling some physical pain. As soon as it was time to leave work, I rushed into the elevator. However, before the elevator doors closed, a well-defined hand blocked them. Connie Woodard, can we talk? Vincent walked in. 15 minutes later, I was sitting in a Rolls-Royce. Vincent dismissed the driver and personally drove me. He caught a glimpse of the half-eaten meal and casually asked, didn't you like the lunch? Why did Mr. Basin want to see me? I replied with a question. If it's about apologizing to Alan, that's out of the question. Where are you heading with that? He drove steadily and said, just feel that after meeting in a dream, we haven't been able to talk calmly. There's nothing to talk about. I'm materialistic and full of lies, so I have nothing in common with Mr. Basin. It's not necessarily the case. Vincent smiled casually. Your company has low profits and an outdated scale, yet I spent millions to acquire it. I assent that to have something in common with you? Just as I was about to retort, a wave of pain hit me. I held my stomach, silent. Vincent looked at me with concern. Feeling unwell? Do you need to go to the hospital? No need. It happened to be a red light. He poured a cup of hot water, handed it to me in a thermos cup lid. What are you doing? The cup is for personal use. I don't mind. Do you? The pain didn't weaken my fighting spirit. I launched a verbal attack. So Mr. Basin likes to play like this, with a fiancé at home and one outside. Oh, and one in the dream, right? I don't have a fiancé. You even went on a blind date. Are you upset about that? Vincent quickly suppressed the corners of his mouth and patiently explained. The blind date that day was beneficial to our family, so I had to go. But as soon as we met, I told the other party that I already liked someone. In the end, we only talked about work and nothing else. Vincent, what do you want to say? Don't you like money? Vincent looked at me, his eyes surprisingly gentle. I have more money than Alan, I'm cleaner than him, and I've never been in a relationship. Connie, consider me and be with me. I feel like Vincent might be going crazy. His direct approach caught me off guard. Being straightforward is one thing, but why is he belittling his younger brother? After not seeing each other for half a year, he confessed to me on the first day of our reunion. Who could have expected that? I couldn't help but feel stunned. He was in no rush, driving slowly. I had to remind him several times. I love money. I think it's more reliable than emotions. That's great. No one is wealthier than me. I like a good physique, must have muscles, but not too much. I should fit the bill. You enjoyed touching in your dreams. I was speechless. Vincent added some more details. He heard everything when Alan and I broke up. Knowing that we were just pretending to be a couple, he was very happy. He originally wanted to clean up his brother's mess before approaching me, but when he turned around, I was already gone. After that, he couldn't reach me no matter what. Same with Alan. During that year, earlier, he tried to find me. His connections and resources were extensive, but he didn't want to be too aggressive in case it became public knowledge and I went into hiding again. What would he do? So he quietly searched, taking more time. He always believed that if I left, there must be a reason, and he just needed to accommodate it. Everything was laid out. Vincent once again asked me to consider him. I didn't beat around the bush and agreed directly, but I had one condition: the relationship couldn't be made public. I didn't want to give up my career yet, nor did I want to be treated differently at work. Vincent agreed to everything. He listened to me very well. Just like in my dreams, his service attitude was excellent, but sometimes, this person was quite troublesome. For example, during a company meeting, Vincent sat there, looking indifferent, occasionally glancing at his phone. That appearance was extremely restrained, but no one knew that he quietly sent me a photo. He was kneeling on the ground in a suit, with his eyes covered. He said, "Took this last night, thought you might like it. We are in a meeting right now. Don't you like it?" Who wouldn't like that? The storm came half a month later. That day, someone knocked on my door in a rhythmic manner. Without checking the peephole, I opened the door directly. Alan was standing outside, holding a large bouquet of flowers. "Connie, I finally found you." As happy as he was, I was equally shocked. Seeing me standing there dumbfounded, he hurriedly explained. "I asked around everywhere, and finally got your address from your middle school classmate. Do you have something to tell me?" Alan, who was usually mischievous, showed a rare shy expression on his face. "I want us to get back together. Hold on. Is being straightforward a genetic trait of the Basin family?" Before I could say anything, Vincent walked out from inside the house. "Is it the delivery?" The two brothers locked eyes slowly. The world fell silent. Perhaps it was only quiet for 3 seconds, but it felt as long as a century. Alan asked in a daze, "Vincent, what are you doing here?" That was a good question. Why was Vincent here? Of course, he stayed overnight at my place, but I didn't want Alan to know too much. My brain quickly came up with an excuse. "He came to urge me for some documents." "What? Mr. Basin is my boss now. He came specially to urge me for the documents." Alan didn't understand. "Where is his secretary?" "He is on vacation." I casually made up a story with a straight face. Vincent glanced at me, seeming a bit hurt. I stuffed an empty folder into his arms. "All the information you need is here. You can leave now. Oh, and take your brother with you." Alan, of course, he didn't want to leave. He leaned against the door frame, adopting a persistent posture. "Connie, listen to me. I was wrong to use you before. I have reflected on it, and I've completely cut ties with my ex. Give me another chance. Let me seriously talk to you about a relationship. I promise not to disappoint you." "No," I firmly refused. "Why not?" "Because I never liked you in the first place."